The story of the refrigerator is a tale of human ingenuity, innovation, and the constant desire to preserve life and food. For thousands of years, people have sought ways to keep their food fresh, prevent spoilage, and store perishables safely. Long before electricity, civilizations relied on natural ice, underground cellars, and inventive methods to cool their food. Understanding this journey allows us to appreciate how a device we now take for granted transformed our daily lives, public health, and even the global economy. In ancient times, people in China, Greece, and Rome understood the value of cold. The Chinese, as early as 1000 BCE, harvested ice during winter and stored it in deep pits insulated with straw. These ice pits allowed them to enjoy chilled drinks and preserve food long after the freezing season ended. Similarly, the Greeks and Romans constructed ice houses, often underground or shaded, where blocks of ice and snow were packed tightly to slow melting. Wealthy Romans, including emperors, used snow and ice transported from mountains to cool their wines, foods, and even baths. These early methods, while labor-intensive and limited in scale, laid the foundation for refrigeration as a means to preserve and enjoy food. By the Middle Ages in Europe, ice and snow remained precious commodities. Nobles would pay large sums to acquire winter ice for cooling and storage, while ordinary people relied on cellars, cold streams, or rivers for food preservation. The need for cooling became particularly pressing with the rise of urban centers. As cities grew and markets became busier, the demand for meat, dairy, and produce that could last longer increased dramatically. In this era, ice became a valuable trade item, with merchants transporting blocks over long distances. Innovations such as insulated ice boxes and stone or brick-lined storage rooms began to appear, making food preservation more practical, though still far from universal. The 18th and early 19th centuries saw critical advances in refrigeration technology. In 1748, a Scottish physician named William Cullen demonstrated the artificial production of cold at the University of Glasgow. Using a pump to create a partial vacuum over a container of ether, he produced rapid cooling. Although this experiment was largely theoretical and not immediately practical for everyday use, it marked the first known instance of artificial refrigeration. Around the same time, other inventors began exploring the principles of evaporative cooling and the use of chemical compounds to produce cold. Ice harvesting became a global industry during the 19th century. In New England, United States, vast quantities of ice were cut from frozen lakes and rivers each winter and shipped as far as the Caribbean, India, and Europe. Ice houses and insulated transport systems allowed this ice to survive long journeys. The availability of ice enabled middle-class families and businesses to enjoy refrigerated storage for the first time. But reliance on natural ice had limitations: seasonal availability, transportation costs, and the risk of contamination. These challenges spurred inventors to find artificial refrigeration methods. The 19th century saw the development of mechanical refrigeration. In 1834, an American inventor named Jacob Perkins built the first practical vapor compression refrigeration system. Using a closed cycle of ether, he demonstrated that mechanical systems could produce consistent cold, independent of natural ice. Around 1850, British engineer James Harrison created an ammonia-based refrigeration system in Australia, which was used to cool beer and meat on a commercial scale. These early systems were large, expensive, and primarily industrial, but they proved the feasibility of controlled artificial cooling. By the late 19th century, refrigeration technology began entering homes. Iceboxes, small insulated cabinets designed to hold blocks of ice, became common in urban households in Europe and North America. Families would purchase ice weekly, placing in the icebox to keep perishables cold. Although far less convenient than modern refrigerators, iceboxes represented a major improvement in food storage, reducing spoilage, and making fresh foods more accessible. The icebox era also created new markets for ice production, delivery services, and cold storage businesses. The next major breakthrough came in the early 20th century with the development of electric refrigerators. In 1913, Fred W. Wolf, an engineer in the United States, introduced one of the first domestic electric refrigerators. At the same time, companies like General Electric and Frigidaire began experimenting with practical home units. By the 1920s and 1930s, electric refrigerators started appearing in middle-class homes, offering safer, more reliable, and more convenient cooling than iceboxes. Innovations included automatic temperature controls, improved insulation, and the use of safer refrigerants such as Freon, introduced in the 1930s, which replaced earlier toxic chemicals like ammonia or methyl chloride. The impact of refrigeration on society cannot be overstated. Refrigerators revolutionized food safety, significantly reducing the incidence of foodborne illness. They enabled supermarkets to stock fresh meat, dairy, and produce year-round, transforming diets and eating habits. Refrigeration also contributed to globalization, allowing foods to be transported over long distances without spoilage. Delicate products like tropical fruits, frozen vegetables, and ice cream became widely available, creating entirely new industries. During World War II, refrigeration played a strategic role in food supply chains. Military operations depended on the ability to preserve meat, dairy, and medicine under extreme conditions. Portable refrigeration units were developed, laying the groundwork for the modern freezer and refrigerated transport systems. After the war, innovations accelerated, with compact, energy-efficient units entering homes in larger numbers. By the 1950s, refrigerators had become an essential household appliance in much of Europe, North America, and increasingly in other parts of the world. In addition to preserving food, refrigerators had cultural and social impacts. They influenced meal planning, grocery shopping habits, and even social interactions, as people could store leftovers and prepare larger quantities of food in advance. Refrigerators also led to new culinary inventions, including frozen dinners and convenience foods, shaping the way people ate in the modern age. Meanwhile, commercial refrigeration continued to expand, supporting restaurants, bakeries, cold storage warehouses, and eventually the global food supply chain. Today's refrigerators are highly sophisticated, combining precise temperature control, energy efficiency, smart technology, and a variety of storage compartments designed for different types of food. Modern refrigerators can maintain consistent temperatures, regulate humidity, and even alert users when supplies are low. From simple iceboxes to advanced units with touchscreen controls and internet connectivity, the evolution of refrigeration reflects the ongoing human pursuit of comfort, safety, and convenience. Throughout history, the refrigerator has not only preserved food, but also shaped civilizations. From ancient ice pits to mechanical systems, electric units, and smart appliances, each innovation reflects advances in science, engineering, and society's needs. Refrigeration has improved health, expanded trade, created economic opportunities, and transformed everyday life. It is a remarkable story of human creativity meeting practical necessity, proving that even the simplest domestic appliance has a rich and fascinating history. In the end, the refrigerator is more than just a kitchen appliance. It represents centuries of innovation, the desire to conquer nature's limits, and the profound impact of technology on daily life. By understanding its evolution, we can better appreciate how modern conveniences came. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, and comment to join the journey through history. See you in the next video.